Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining in this video. I'm really honored to welcome Mr. Ayappa Das from Harvard Biomedical. He is the director of the company, and we are talking about biomedical engineering and all the aspects around it. So please stay tuned and watch the entire video.
So thanks for inviting me to this talk. So I'm very happy to join this. I have seen many of your podcasts, and I think it will be so much helpful for the growing budding biomedical engineers.
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
it's a new opportunity for them to understand the industry in a better way. Right. I think it's going well. I think you should also do this with many other biomedical engineers in this world.
Thank you so much, sir. Means a lot, means a lot. Yeah. So I actually wanted to start by asking a very normal question, like because you have pursued biomedical engineering on your own, and it was quite a long time ago. So
Right.
why did you like end up choosing biomedical engineering, and how was your entire experience pursuing that particular field? Because if I'm not wrong, that was like very new at that time.
Right, right.
So how was it?
And I think it's the question faced by every biomedical engineers. Maybe from our first year of engineering onwards, we'll be getting this question from the lectures and everyone we meet. And even I remember some of the answers. Many of them have told. I mean, many of my students, even when I was in campus, my classmates were telling. But I can say I was not a very passionate person in biomedical. Even being
Is
in
it?
Harvard Biomedical, yeah, I'm not a highly passionate person in biomedical. I was not. And I was very much interested in electronic, I can say, electronics. I was so much interested in electronics. And later on, I have even some of my part of my career, even now, I am also so much involved in electronics and embedded system area. So, but when there's a point came, I had to complete my admission with the college. And I was very confused. Should I really go for electronics and communication, IT, again, biomedical engineering? So I was thinking just a moment, and a few days I was I was so much researching about this. And finally I thought, okay, I'm so much interested in electronics. Then why should I make it spend my time work for the humanity, right? So by developing medical devices, okay, so doing something special in this segment for humanity, then yes, I found it's a best option, this biomedical engineering, to support the healthcare industry by being an engineer in this segment. So then later on, yes, it was. I found it well, and even like I said, there was a lot of struggles I also had, just like any biomedical engineers.
Right.
And so that's what I could say. Finally, I decided, okay, then I should now start helping the biomedical engineers. So everyone now who's coming to this field should be able to have a clear path where what we have faced and what the struggles we had made us capable of doing something in another level. So, so it is all the journey, I can say.
Okay.
Right. So it's not, I was not much interested in being a doctor or a nurse. I was not at all interested in that area. But it's all about choosing and my interest in electronics. I just applied into, I thought I can apply into this segment.
Right.
That is the reason. Right.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
In which year, like, you passed out from your college?
2011
Oh,
was I
nice.
completed. All
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
right. Right.
So, I remember this one thing. So, I have
Yeah.
pursued diploma in biomedical engineering as well as the bachelor's. But when I entered
Okay.
in diploma, that was like 2010 around time. So, people used to say that the field is quite new and it's still emerging and there are still advancement going on and everything like that. Do you still think that I mean, because I have still heard people saying the same thing. So, do you think that the scenario is still the same and there's nothing more changed or no more advancement has happened in this particular field?
See, let me tell you, I think, see, my experience in not only I'm not connected to biomedical segment, I'm also highly connected with the mechanical engineers who are working in the design segment, who are working in electronics, software segment, I'm highly connected. But my experience also says that there is always opportunity for a skilled engineer. Okay, so the industry is need skilled engineers, and there is a lot of scope for advancements. And even if you look into many of the medical devices around you, they are all not like a highly connected devices. They are not highly connected as a part of a Internet of Things or technological aspects. They are not highly. I'm not expecting a very highly connective type of medical devices. But I can see how many companies around in nowadays have a wireless monitoring system, wireless patient monitoring system. The few of the companies, especially like companies like Stasis Health and Vios Medical, these startups from Bangalore have come up with this technology of wireless monitoring systems. And there are companies, they are working on fetal monitoring technology. And there are people who are working, like you may also met Josephine. She was working in Initos Analytics, the company. And I can say that now there is a lot of startup companies, there are a lot of biomedical engineers, even non-biomedical engineers, the founders of biomedical companies. So they are coming with a new type of technology and more employment opportunities are getting created, I can say. So previously, when we are passing out, we all thought that opportunities were only limited in GE Healthcare, Philips Healthcare. Only the opportunities, if you can become a biomedical engineer, these are only the opportunities. But I can see that I can say there will be minimum 50 to 100 startups, medical device startups in India. And these all a biomedical engineering background candidate, even non-biomedical engineering graduate, they become the founders of these medical device companies, and they are going to create a lot of opportunities for the biomedical engineers.
Right.
And moreover, the existing companies are also forced to bring a lot of innovations and advancements. Right. And the third part is the quality of the healthcare system. Right. So the time when we were in the market in 2011, when we are entering into this market, there was only few companies in healthcare technology management. Nowadays, there was only company which I was even associated by the time. That's called Trimadex India Healthcare Private Limited. And again, TBS. There is many more companies now in the healthcare technology management segment. And there is also, again, a competition. I can say there will be another 20 companies now, which is into healthcare technology management. And finally, this competition is going to have better quality healthcare. I mean, it's all to provide a better quality healthcare. I mean, technology management, cost reduction in the maintenance, many aspects. Right. So I can say the industry is growing, right? The industry is growing. I can say maybe 5 times the industry is grown, or more than that. Even in coming years, it will be growing. But getting to this market, right, and making a right career path, it always needs a lot of dedication. That's what I can say. The industries need that lot of dedication. Dedication is, I can say, first, and you learn the things, and you be ready for the industry, and there is a lot of opportunity. And people always say only there is a service sales opportunities. There is only service opportunity. There is no application. But it's not like it. There is a number of opportunities available apart from this. And but the biomedical engineers are yet to explore these areas. That is what I see.
Correct. And I think when I see as a personally, I think the sales and the service market is huge. Like it is like very expanded in compared to R&D department and the other kind of job sector in this particular field. So I think people tend to know first about the sales and service department firsthand, I think, rather than the other two fields. So yeah, rightly said.
Because this is one of the major number of opportunities are available in sales. That is very true. Because India is not a center for a manufacturing yet. Even though there is no much opportunity in the manufacturing or working in a factory, I don't think it's not a right fit job for an engineer.
Right.
But obviously, sales and marketing. See, the biomedical engineer should understand one thing: the sales opportunities or marketing opportunity. It is not only in biomedical industry. Every industry have this, right? Electronics industry, even in an Intel or even in any company, there is a sales engineer.
Correct.
So biomedical engineers are thinking that only in medical equipment segment there is a sales engineer. It's not true.
No.
They didn't. I think they have people have a lot of misunderstanding. So every industry, even in automobile industry, IT, every industry there is a sales team. And whether you want to become a part of sales team or you want to become a part of an R&D, it's up to you. It's up to you, and how do you demonstrate your skills, right? And I don't think there is no point of saying that there is only sales opportunities.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
what I can say. That's true.
That's very well said, sir. I want to take you back a little bit, and I just want to talk about the Harvey Biomedical, because I think there are so many people who are talking about this particular company, as well as I personally know, because there are so many seniors from my college itself. They have been to Harvey Biomedical, as well as Miss Joseph. Josephine Joseph, who was our guest on the podcast. She also been there, and she got to connect with the Inito. So I wanted to know, like, what's the story behind Harvey Biomedical? How did you guys started with the whole company, and why did you do on the first place?
Same, when I completed in 2011, so when I was completing engineering, I was so much passionate about the research and development. Even I was telling, I had an interest to develop devices, all things.
Right.
So, but even end of the day, I also have to get satisfied with the sales opportunity. I was joined as a sales and service engineer in a company.
Okay.
And that is also, I can see a very low package, but it was a wonderful opportunity. What happened is that, and within another 6 months of that time, the same employer which I was working, they have funded me for an idea to start a new company which can develop the products.
Okay.
And his name is called Mr. Naim, and he is a businessman from Dubai. And I convinced him, and he's also very confident, because even as a sales engineer, I was doing well. And maybe that quality connected us each other. And even though I'm just a very simple, fresh graduate, just 6 months of experience in sales, and he believed my idea to start a company to develop devices. And that's how I came to Bangalore, and where we set up our research and development center. We had more than 12 engineers with different backgrounds, not just biomedical,
Okay.
designers, developers, programmers. So we started a company, and we have started a few devices like vital sign monitors. We have developed a syringe pump, pulse oximeter, certain devices we have developed. But going forward, I could not. No, we had some certain problems which we faced in the investment part, and we completed few products. So around 3 years of time, around 2014, I came out of the firm, and I was thinking, okay, so what could I see? Again, I was not a very keen into the marketing, say, such kind of areas, because as you know, I was also much interested into the technical part. Then immediate option I was seeing is that why can't I use my learnings? The last 3 years of time, I was working into the medical device development, working with the developers. So I could able to understand many medical devices. I was able to understand how the ventilators are working, or anesthesia machines are working, or many equipments, how it is working. As a point of, my eyes were just like an X-ray, I can say. I was able to see inside the machines. Even though I'm not looking at the machines, I could understand the technical write-ups about the equipments, the data I was able to read in very well manner, because I was closely working with all type of developers, I can say. And that led me to understand that, okay, I can materialize, I can develop educational materials on any type of medical equipments.
Correct.
Because a service engineer, even a service engineer is a 20 years experienced person also, he will not be able to understand an equipment in all the aspects, because his work is limited to the troubleshooting or maintenance part. So I had got this, that vision, just like an X-ray, to look at any machine and figure out what is happening inside that. And that gave me a lot of confidence. And but even though the 3 years of time which I was spending in the medical equipment development was it was tough for me to come out of the organization. And then I started Harvey Biomedical in the same location in Bangalore, in the same building I have started it. And from there, it went well, and that's what I can say. And from Mr. Naim itself, I have got a lot of support. And meanwhile, I was also connected with the many people. Like one of the person, like his name is the company like Fluke from the Mr.
Right.
Dinesh. He was a product manager. He was supported me with a lot of testing and calibration equipments. And I can see there is many people, by the time around 10 people they started supporting us by that time, because just having a 3 years of time, nobody cannot. I don't think it's not easy to start a training facility.
Correct.
And I can see it's just keep growing in the sense it's not about the number of students. I'm speaking about the supporters from the industry. There are many people, they supported me with my equipments. When I'm starting, I don't remember that. I didn't even purchase a medical equipment. More than 25 equipments, it was provided by many companies. Because you can say that I cannot buy all those machines at the time. And that keeps going. And it was obviously it is always just like anything you start, right? Expenses, everything is a burden. 2 years of time, it was a very struggling period. But yes, we just know the education, the interest has been developed. Meanwhile, what happened, very interesting thing happened. 2015, 2014, I started. 2015, the Trimadex in the healthcare, that is a healthcare facility management company, they approached me to develop the training modules for medical equipments. So that became one of the turning point. So Mr. Kanwar Khan, he was the managing director. I was just one day I was sitting inside my office. He just walked into the Harvey's office, and that's a company with more than 150 biomedical engineers who are working there.
True.
And he told me that, so why don't you look at developing this kind of training materials and train our engineers? Okay, looking at the training part, let's keep it second. First, why don't you look at developing the training materials? And I can say again, another 6 months of time, I was continuously working actually, even that was without profit. I was not even paid for around 6 months of time when I was working with Trimadex for anything. Okay. And meanwhile, then after 6 months of time, I can say 6 months of time, it was purely learning for me. I was worked as an engineer in the sense I was not a full-time employee there. I was working as a consultant mode, even without a payment. And then later on, he approved a purchase order and he officially appointed as a consultant, training consultant. And there is a lot of help I can see. Even Mr. Satish, he's presently the vice president of Narayana Hridayalaya for biomedical engineering department. So he's also my keen supporter, and many people I can say. Banu Rekha, she's the biomedical manager from Trimadex. And many other people helped us, actually, many experts from the Trimadex. With their support, I have created a lot of training materials, learning materials. And purely, I can say it's all happened purely based on how is possible. Purely, I can say educational research. I can say it's purely an educational research. We have researched on a lot of equipments. I was not relying on any internet-based data. We were purely relying on the expert data and the expert information. And experts are not able to express many times because it's not all documented. So continuously communicated with them hours of time, days of time, months of time. And we created the training materials, I can
Beautiful, sir. Beautiful. I think it has been 5 years, and I think you have really grown a lot in aspect of providing education to students, in aspect of making your own company and do the networking so beautifully. Beautiful, sir. Beautiful. Another thing I really want to focus upon is that why do you think that this hands-on training on the instruments is so much important for students, and is it like worth to pay? I think it's 30-40K around for
right. It's generally 30K. Yes.
Yeah. So why people should invest their money in this? Because they are already going to a particular college or university to study the whole course. So why it is a good way to start your hands-on training program with Harvard Biomedical Engineering?
Right. See, first of all, I don't think that the engineering colleges has to teach service or maintenance or sales of medical equipments. I think it is not the right method. Okay, so it's engineering as a professional degree, and they should focus more into the core technology, and they should teach them the product development and many other things they should have to do actually. And engineering is not a vocational degree, right? It's not a skill development program. Engineering degree or take it from a university, it's not a skill development program. And so biomedical engineers cannot expect that they will be trained in servicing medical equipments in colleges, right? It is them, they have to decide whether they have to become a product specialist or they want to become a service engineer or a regulatory engineer or a sales engineer. They have to decide that. And accordingly, they have to develop their knowledge. And that is why they have to always go for a skill development program. And it's not necessary that I'm not telling that everyone biomedical engineering completing an engineering should come to Harvey and get trained up. So if our training programs are helpful, I think that basically the person should understand the scope of his area of employment. I cannot push him to become a product specialist. I cannot push him to become a service engineer or an embedded engineer. I cannot do that. Right. So whatever he wants to do, we have certain things 100% which will help him to get into the industry, and we can train them. And we are training on a specific aspect, the training module, which is formed by the Harvey Biomedical, by understanding what a biomedical engineer need to be in now, medical equipment companies. We have developed it as per the needs of the industry. It's not as per the dream of a biomedical engineer. See, many biomedical engineers comes to me, they just ask me, what is inside this machine? But even though they don't know how to use a multimeter.
Correct.
I can say more than 70% of the engineers, if you give a multimeter and ask them to measure a current, they will not be able to do that.
True.
But they are just very keen on, if you say ventilator, what is inside this ventilator? They want to know now. Right? So what I'm saying is that they don't know what exactly they have to learn. Actually, first I would ask them that they have to figure out what they have to become in biomedical engineering segment. And if they are very keen on becoming an application specialist or product specialist or a regulatory engineer or even a service engineer, even sales and marketing, many students, brilliant students, are also highly interested in taking up sales and marketing.
Correct.
And if they are interested in these domains, obviously they can come for our 40 days training program. And Harvey will really support them with the training as well as placement support. We have an option that once a student joins our training, after completion of training, he don't need to even search a job. So that is the support we're providing. Until he get a job, we are supporting with the interviews. We don't want after getting training to search and walk in the road. We don't want to happen that.
Right.
So we tell them that until you get an interview and you get a job, you just follow us and be in touch with us. And be available to in a location where they can attend the interview.
Correct.
So what I'm telling you is that it's all, if you want to go to the stream, Harvey will be a better option. And still, obviously, there is many companies, they are even making direct hiring from the campuses. Even they get such opportunities, that is also really help them to do that. But one fact is that when you go into a company, this is one problem I can see. What is the thing is that whether you don't know whether you want to go to a laboratory segment, you want to go to an imaging segment, whether you want to go to a critical care segment, right? You want to go to a calibration or regulatory segment, you may not be knowing that as a fresh graduate. But if they take up our training, and they'll be able to figure out which direction they can exactly build their career. That is another advantage, because we have a wide range of product coverage, so that which will open them an opportunity in any type of companies in these segments.
Right. Beautiful, sir.
So that is what.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask one more thing is like, do you guys only have a set of instruments from a particular like therapeutic domain or a diagnostic domain? Because it's like difficult to accommodate the whole X-ray machine or the CT scan machine in the training premises, because first of all, it's very expensive. Second of all, you have to maintain the temperature and the surroundings to run that particular machine on a smooth basis. So how do you guys manage that?
Now, see, personally, I can not say, we are not about covering the radiology at the moment. And we are starting from all the basic equipment, starting from an ECG machine to monitors, ventilators, anesthesia machines, and again, laboratory equipment like hematology, biochemistry analysis, all the things. And we have many small equipments like fetal monitors, electrosurgery machines, right? And again, calibration equipment, around more than 6 calibration equipments are covered part of the training program. Right. See, and nowadays we have started, actually now recently we have added a dental X-ray machine and dental radiology scanning equipment like RVG, PSP, this kind of radiology scanning, not into the medical now into the dental X-ray aspect, dental radiology is added. And soon we are also adding a dental CT machine which can scan the head, which is called a CBCT. It's a portable machine. It is a type of CT machine which can scan the head, and it's mainly in the dental application. So these equipments are also being covered in the training. But this CBC is coming in the next few months. Within 2 months, it is going to be started. So these are the things covered. But as per my experience, I can say every student does not require to be an expert on all these equipments.
Right.
The number of equipments, people always ask, that's what I'm telling you, even though they don't know how to use a multimeter, they will ask what is inside an MRI machine. Right. So I always suggest them that you have this many equipments. You just be ready with the 5 equipments and thorough manner.
Right.
And that is good enough. That is good enough because companies are always going to check what is your learning capabilities.
Correct.
Right. Learning capabilities, because they can train you in any type of product and they can put into work. So my student, I am telling them, you prove yourself. What is your learning capabilities? How much you are capable of doing it. It's not all we are mugging up everything and getting prepared for the interview. Right. So it's not essential that learning everything is into. I even seen that many of our students even get hired in the radiology segment because the employer asks you one question: what is ECG machine? Or he will ask you what is the principle behind any specific thing and how it works. Even they are not able to explain about an ECG machine and how they can expect about that candidate will learn a MRI machine or a CT machine and do it well. Right?
Correct.
See, if somebody asks him about what is ECG machine, they say electrocardiogram. It's all over. Right? So how it works, or there is no industry relevant data. What is MRI? They know magnetic resonance imaging. So majority of them think that they are just done with this, right? So they can clearly tell it. Okay, I'm telling anybody can clearly tell I'm not expert in MRI machine, but I'm very well versed with this certain equipments. And if you can test my knowledge. If you give me an opportunity, 100% I can learn and do that, right? So this is the level of confidence every biomedical engineer should demonstrate to the employers, and they will hire them. They will hire them even though they are not expert in any of the specific domains.
Very true.
So that is what I suggested. These all things are we are covering, but obviously it will be a good experience. Even people who want to learn more, understand more about the equipment, it's a good experience. But I still suggest that number of equipment doesn't matter. Even you are very good at certain things, that is sufficient.
True.
So because I'm telling this because many people think that. I'm telling this because even they can start doing all those things from their college days.
Mm-hmm.
College days. Why I'm telling all these things, they can start doing all those things from their college days, second year, third year, right? And instead of, people will a lot of work with unrealistic projects and imaginations. They work a lot of things. But finally, end of the day, in the final year project, they make a double box and with a lot of things. But even though that will not really work it, right? And why don't they make something which will really work, right? True. And they can start that effort even from the second year onwards.
True. Right. Very true, sir.
So we want them to focus. We want them to focus on something, and rather than just being dreamy always, and to focus on specific topics and start really doing some exercises and to really do some research.
True. Right? So my next question is coming around to that particular area only, that do you guys only have a students from biomedical engineering or from EC, mechanical, or all other kind of fields? Because I have seen recent only that there is one girl who is very interested in studying medical instrumentations, but she's from IC background, the instrumentation and control background. So people generally don't know that even if you are AC engineer or IC engineer or a mechanical engineer, you can apply your knowledge into medical instrumentation field as well. So how your experience has been in that particular area?
It's true, actually. The instrumentation engineers are also nowadays, I can say around 20% of the instrumentation electronics engineer graduate, they are highly interested in coming to biomedical segments. And every instrumentation engineering departments, there are more than 72 engineering colleges in India have instrumentation department. And there is a faculty, there is a biomedical faculty also inside their colleges. So for instrumentation department. So they also have medical equipment like ECG machine in instrumentation department.
Right.
So due to this, there is an awareness. And I also visited many of those colleges. And I've seen a lot of students are interested, and yes, obviously we have every batch we have one or two, three. I can say one or two or three something students from instrumentation batch. And again, electronics and communication also there are a few students
So it
moving
is
into
not
this.
limited to BME students
Not
only.
too bad. Yes, but mechanical students, I don't really recommend our course to them, and we don't encourage them. Sometimes some students come to our program because their friends are working in this industry, or they are already offered a job. They have already a job offer, but the employer advised them to take a training and come back. Due to some reason, mechanical students are also coming to our training program. Very rarely, I can say, maximum yearly are 10 students who come as a
Right,
student.
right. But that's good. I think they are also getting some sort of exploration in their particular working field. So it's any day, I think it's good to learn some sort of this kind of thing. Right. Another thing, because I recently read about this particular article where they are talking about the Indian market for manufacturing the medical instruments. So I think
Right.
60 to 80% of the Indian medical market are importing the instruments from outside of the country, whether it is China, US, UK, whatever it is, but they are importing the machineries from outside of India.
Right.
Being in this field, do you think that we can change that number and we can lower it down? And if so, how we can do that?
So in medical equipment manufacturing, Indian manufacturers, I think there'll be again another 25 companies in India.
Mm-hmm.
They will be highly established in medical equipment manufacturing.
Could you
So
name
I'm
some
also
of them?
right. So I'm very closely connected to one company, which is India's largest dental equipment manufacturer, which is called Confident Dental Equipment Private Limited. Right. So it's India's largest dental equipment manufacturer, and it is founded by Dr. Subhash Shetty. He is not a biomedical engineer; he is a dentist.
Right.
Okay, you see that it's a 43-year-old dental equipment company, and anywhere in India, any part of the clinic, if you go, every dentist will know this company. Confident, it's the largest player.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that a dentist started this one. And they have very big factory. Actually, a few days back, we have signed an MOU with them as well to conduct training.
Right.
I'll come to that later. So what I'm saying is that these companies exist. Again, the Allanchas is one of the company from Punjab region, very well popular. Again, BPL Healthcare, they also manufacture certain equipments. Scanray Technologies, right? Many few companies. Again, surgical segment, there are many companies out there. But most of the companies, I can say, core electronic segment of products, the companies are yet to come. The reason is that cost of manufacturing of PCBs or the components. You see, basically, we don't have many of the materials like lithium. Lithium is an essential part of a battery, right? So we don't have this deposition in our labs, and we cannot have this. So we have to still import many of the things. Mm-hmm. But still, we can promote manufacturing, but I think the government should provide subsidies or should provide certain GST exemptions so that Indian companies can really compete with foreign brands. Especially, as you know, that many of the companies are manufacturing their products in China or Taiwan, many places where the cost of production is very lower compared to India. Mm-hmm. So if the companies are provided with essential subsidies and things, and 100%, they will. Soon we can move into the more made in India products will be launched. Right. But still, we have limitations. Like we have to even a display, or even it is a battery or a capacitor or any ICs. We still have to import it. We don't have manufacturing facilities.
The raw materials, which are like very basic.
Raw materials, it's and it is. I mean, if you're looking into that part, it's difficult. But more PCB manufacturing facilities and PCB companies who can manufacture the PCBs at lower cost. Still, I can say if you compare to the Chinese pricing, since I worked in this segment, I can say since if you compare with the Chinese vendors' pricing, Indian companies will be double or triple than what they are offering. Correct. So then more production equipments are also required and more investments are required in the production side. Mm-hmm. And medical equipment company desire that I have to manufacture in India, that will not reduce the cost. There are a lot of factors connected to that. Example, vendors, supplies, the production equipments, right? And
True.
again, taxation, support, many things have to be done. Then if the conditions goes well, and then obviously there is a good future for that, I can say.
Right, right, right. So nearly how many companies as a Harvard Biomedical you have signed up with them to in matter of providing a placement or providing a visits to that centers for the manufacturing sites or maybe just to held a conference in that matter.
No, see, signing an MOU with every company is not so easy.
Mhm.
And because, see, if you want a map of paperwork to sign an MOU, everyone will be ready to sign. Okay,
Correct.
so I'm not looking into that point. I'm also looking into the exchange of knowledge and imparting training for our trainers
Hmm.
and making their technology available, the products available for us. There is many factors like that. So if you are looking at that point of view, we might be signed only around 20, 21 now companies at
Which
the
is
moment.
not even a small number, sir, if I would say.
Yeah, right. So, who are ready to provide us the training for our trainers? That is very important for me because
Yeah,
being updated as per the technology demands is very important.
correct.
Second thing is, even we are not affordable to many of their equipments. So, I expect them to provide us and be available in our training facility. I don't even believe in sending students to their facility because students can face a lot of inconvenience, and again
Yeah,
providing a good level of teaching in standing in a factory or anything is not so easy.
true.
So there are sort of so, but I think there are a lot of companies coming forward, and they are interested in associating with us, and 100% there will be a lot of things happening in the coming year for sure.
Awesome, awesome, sir. I
Right.
mean, you guys are really working hard in that matter. And I think 2025 number is also again not small because
Right.
considering the manufacturing sites which are like a fully make in India
Right.
are comparatively on a lesser side. So I think it's a pretty good deal to work upon. And approximately how many students you guys have like trained so far?
So the number of students, if I take, it will be more than 2,000, I can say 2,000 or
Wow.
2,300 people. Some of them are, majority of them undergone our long-term training program, which is skill oriented, job oriented. But initial 2 years of time, it was not a purely a job support. We didn't provide any job support in the first 2 years in
Right,
2015, 16.
right.
And later on, we have started providing the job support. And even now, last 1 year of time, it made we clearly tell the students that you don't even search a job after coming to Harvard. So even this kind of terms just started happening in the last 1 year of time
Right, right.
because the more MOs, more supporters from the industry. So that made us to provide this way.
Nice.
So I can say it will increase. It will increase,
For
and we are also opening training facilities in across India. So we'll be
Oh,
opening
nice.
in Chennai, as well as in Mumbai and in Delhi and in Cochin. These
Wow.
places, it's not a permanent locations. It is actually with the help of our companies. The MOU we have signed, and basically the companies are opening their facility for us to conduct the training in their offices, even in a short term or a long term program.
Right.
With even the help of equipments and technologies are provided by the companies.
Nice.
So by this way, I am expecting that not only in Bangalore, at least one training will be able to conduct across these locations so that the students can save the money in terms of traveling and accommodation.
Right.
That they will be able to save that,
True. True.
and we will be able to connect with more students. That is what I'm thinking, and even colleges can get engaged for sending the students for a visit or organizing a short sessions. So we
Mhm.
are planning, we are in the process. Within a 1 month of time, it will, 1 or 1.5 months of time, immediately we'll be launching with this
That's awesome.
schedules of the training.
Good luck to you, sir, for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's really awesome. I think
Thank you.
many of the students are actually limiting themselves to change the city for such a long period. And I think
All right.
if this step is being into the scenario, I think you'll definitely get more students in that particular time.
I want to meet actually every biomedical engineering student, even for a one day
Yeah,
in their career. I want to meet that. That's what, even whether they are attending our long-term training or meet, I didn't matters. But my
right,
aim is to meet every biomedical engineering student before they pass out engineering, at
correct.
least before they pass out or after passing out. So that will come true by this thing, I think so sometimes.
Awesome, sir. Awesome.
Right.
So one more thing is that there are so many students who are keen to pursue research and development area. They
Right.
are
Right.
very much interested in learning the core electronics and the smallest part, which is being a faulty in a later on scenario. So do you guys have that facility to learn the R&D from the basic for the larger instruments? Because obviously when you have a the starting point at your college, they are not really, going to teach you in the terms of you are repairing a machinery for the hospitals
Right.
or maybe a companies. But when someone is enrolling into this program, are you guys having such a facility to provide them a knowledge?
See, let me tell you this, one of the mainstream program we are conducting, advanced training in biomedical applications. It's purely focused in the application service testing areas.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a candidate looking into R&D areas, research and development areas, I'm happy to tell you that this month we have launched our new program with the association with a semiconductor company. Okay,
Oh,
so
wow.
yes, so I recommend, actually this is my long-term effort to start this program. More than 2 years I was continuously working with this
Mm-hmm.
to start a program and for the people who want to really work into research and development area. So when you come to research and development area, it is not about the theoretical research or clinical research. I can say it's really into the product development area. So how a biomedical engineer can develop a medical device, right? It's how it should be done, right? By learning the service or maintenance or application, still it's going to take years and years of time for him to get into an R&D kit.
Right.
That's why we are launching this program, which is called, it is an embedded system development.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 3 months program. So I have done this with the help of a company called Blueberry Semiconductors. It is a semiconductors private limited company, which is in Bangalore. So we have drafted a 3 months program, 3 months program
Wow.
exclusively to the product development area. It's not just meant for biomedical engineers, because I don't know how many number of people are really want to go to the product development areas.
Correct.
So we are targeting a wide range from instrumentation and communication, different backgrounds. So it's a program which will, there will be even a medical device project as a part of it. So even though anybody didn't know anything about coding or anything, they can just join this course and they will be able to learn the coding, because obviously they should have an interest in coding. That is very much required. And as well as the embedded system part, which is into microcontrollers,
Right.
microprocessors, and even into complete system development as a project, as a product development. And this program is there. Because many of the engineers, they think that being into research and development, it's all always into nanotechnology, or it's always into the biotechnology or nanosensors. I really don't believe in that. Okay, obviously you can go for it if you are passionate about it. I believe in the product development area. So that is why, believing in the sense, I believe in the opportunities, the sure shot long-term career opportunity, which is can be successful. So that is why I want you to recommend you to become an embedded engineer. And that is why this program is launched. And our faculty is a 65-year-old person. He's a 35-year experienced in
Wow.
embedded system developer. He's a key trainer. Is Harish Chauhan. He's from Gujarat and he's settled in Bangalore. And he's a lead trainer. And he's a doctorate achieved person from IISc, Indian Institute of Science. And he's a long-term experienced, I can say, a genius in the embedded system.
That's
So
awesome.
he want to do this with us, and I was also so much in connection, continuously communicating. That's how it's possible.
That's awesome. I think there are so many things which are coming on from Harvard Biomedical. I'm just really keen to see all of that success.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
was a great pleasure talking to you. I really don't know. We have spoken for an hour almost, and the time just flied by. It was a really healthy conversation with you, and knowing the every aspect of Harvard Biomedical Engineer. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Krishi. Thank you. So keep doing this thing, and I recommend all my people I know to join your talk,
Sure.
and please continue this thing, right? And I'm happy that you are able to continue this kind of activities along with your MTech program. I mean, your PGA course, MBA,
Yeah.
right? Keep doing that.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.